I'll be brief. I've been asked to be brief, so I'll be brief. I'll just be taking you through a small video which we've done, and I hope it plays this way. Can you play the video, please?
GrayOrange has been a very reliable partner. It has actually got 24/7 support.
It is a one-stop shop. I don't need to go to many people. So whether it's the hardware or software, everything comes from one source.
Solutioning to deployment, prove out and stabilization, getting it all done in a span of just short of 9 months. Is a big testament to GrayOrange's ability to work with us, be in lockstep with us in terms of achieving our aspiration.
Okay, so we launched a white paper in association with RAI yesterday, and I would like to thank RAI for giving us this opportunity. I'll quickly take you through a synopsis of what we've done. Some of you were with me yesterday, so you would have had a detailed look at this. The white paper is available for you to take hard copies of if you want to get more details. So I'll quickly run you through what we found out in the retail industry, the key trends, the challenges which are faced, and how automation can help address those. I'll just give you a brief about what GrayOrange is. GrayOrange is essentially a robotics company. As part of our journey into robotics, we do our design, prototype, manufacturing of robotics ourselves, along with writing software related to those, and marry both the two together to kind of make solutions work. What we found, and this is a number which I think is which all of you would agree with, the retail industry in India is growing at a phenomenal rate, and it's looking to do 1,000 billion in 2020. We've seen that more and more of this sector will now become organized from the typical unorganized way the industry has been in India. There are a few trends which are impacting the retail industry today. One is obviously the smartphone penetration, which is all prevalent in India. The internet growth is humongous. What's this leading to is a convergence between the offline and online retail, and retail as an industry is converging. 3 years back, there was this popular acronym called ROPO, which was research online and purchase offline. Today, I think it's just the opposite, which is happening in India, or has started happening, where people kind of research offline and purchase online. So it's consumer behavior, and unless we are able to cater to all sorts of customers and customer needs and buying patterns, I think there is going to be a continuous disruption in the market. So on demand side trends, we've seen a younger demographics coming up, rising income levels, and international brands. So the customer today is spoiled for choice. The customer has more money which he's ready to spend, and being a young nation, our propensity to spend is also higher. On the supply side, we see that labor costs continue to rise in our country. That's natural as we see that our GDP grows at about 7.5%, and the cost of just about everything, specifically labor, goes up rapidly. We are seeing that there is a high inflationary real estate cost, while all of us look at real estate in the media and we see that there's deflation, but that's primarily on the residential side, not on the commercial side. And all of you who deal with commercial real estate know that it's getting more and more painful to kind of either lease or invest in those. There is increased focus by the government on infrastructure, but it's a great leveler. Almost everybody, your peers, your competitors, have to live with the same infrastructure. So unless there is significant changes which happen on the infrastructure side, that's something which all of us will have to continue to deal with. Increasing raw material costs. Your raw material vendors face the same trends which you face, of higher infrastructure, labor, real estate costs. So their costs continue to go up, and hence kind of there's a pressure on your costs. FDI, I don't want to get into this, but yeah, it impacts the retail industry in a big way. GST might change the way everything on at least the supply side, whether it's inbound or outbound, could happen, and the way we do our supply chain could be impacted in a big way. We've all been waiting for it for a year. Let's see what happens on that one. All these trends mean that there is increasing challenges and complexities which a normal retailer faces today. We spoke to a lot of experts on the business side of retailers, your peers and counterparts, and we asked them what are the key challenges which they think face the industry today. 90% of them listed the shortage of skilled manpower as their single biggest constraint challenge which they face. SKU volumes and variability is another factor. As customers today ask for more and more choice, the choice which we have to offer is tremendously more. The customer wants wider variety, variability, and thus the SKU volumes continue to grow. Fragmented supply chain, some of this is partially because of the taxation regimes which we have in the country, and some of this is primarily dependent on how efficient we do our supply chain. 80% of the people said that it's number 3. Unfavorable regulatory environment, we've already spoken about it, but it's a great leveler. Everybody almost faces the same thing. High number of touch points is another key criteria in retail, where people feel that right from manufacturing till the time the product actually hits the consumer, gets into his hand, there are a high number of touch points which they would want to kind of reduce, both for reducing shrinkages as well as maintaining quality. Why warehouse automation? Typically in India, 25% is a very conservative number, but this is approximately the cost of the total supply chain percentage. 25% is the total cost of warehousing of the total supply chain cost of any retail customer, while 75% being the logistics part, which again, as I said, is a leveler. It works equally for almost everybody. What you do in your warehousing and how you do in your warehousing could be a differentiator. Automation, we've broadly identified them as level 1, 2, 3, and 4. We think India today is in level 1, where most of our warehouses are non-automated, but we see that gradually the journey of us will take us towards an evolutionary phase where we'll probably, kind of 3 to 4 years be, kind of either as modernized or as automated as some of the Western economies are, or we'll face disruption from people who have warehouses which are that automated. Why automation adoption is still low? On this, people came back and said that return of investment continues to be a challenge in terms of proving as to how, what's the efficacy of automation in a warehouse. Inflexible and non-expandable, change management, lack of awareness. How can automation help? As I said, GrayOrange primarily being in robotics, the first problems which we would decided to address is in the warehouse space. Just taking 3 simple cases which we worked with the retail industry on. The first case is where a typical warehouse has a size of about 100,000 square feet. Inbound throughput was 50,000 units per day. The complexities involved were multiple SKUs in a case, sortation as per SKU before put away, requiring a large number of manpower on the inbound. In fact, the largest share of manpower in this particular warehouse was in the inbound. Operations were prone to error and high processing time on the inbound. So came up with a co-ideated simple solution on sortation at the inbound, where we automated sortation, dynamically handle SKU profiles from different vendors. In fact, we could dynamically configure the sortation system based on the vendor who was getting inbounded as to how to kind of inbound those, capture the weight and volume of the units, and automate unit counting processes. Not a very complex solution, not a very expensive solution. It was easy to ideate, easy to solution, and easy to implement. Number 2 was of a outbound, in which unit picking was the norm. A very small sized warehouse within the city limits, couldn't expand, couldn't think of taking a very large space very close by. Outbound throughput was 4,000, but the biggest challenge for them was variability in their outbound on a day-to-day basis. Number of SKUs were enormously high, so if you think 10,000 plus SKUs, with outbound throughput of only 4,000 units. They had a huge number of SKUs which were not even shipping maybe even once a week. Complexities, high variation in throughput, visibility and traceability of inventory was a challenge, specifically when it's slow moving, but this inventory was slightly expensive, so each unit had a higher ASP. High dependency on skilled manpower and human intensive audit process. In fact, they were taking about 5 to 6 days to just complete their audit, which they were doing once a quarter. Space optimization and storage density was getting a challenge because they needed to increase throughput without actually moving to a new place. The solution which we worked with them was a goods to person solution. What you see over there are what we call our Butler system, which is a goods to person picking system. More details are available on our website and our brochures available on our booth. Enable unit picking through goods to person. Bases the pick list, the robots bring the rack to the person instead of the human going and picking those or trying to pick those particular SKUs. Picker picks the item and keeps it in a pick put station. Order consolidations happen at the pick put station. We were able to give a throughput of 1.5 times of what they were getting earlier at a good ROI. Push based to pull based demand model. We've seen some of the largest retailers working on this one. 50,000 square feet outbound, 50,000 units a day. Number of SKUs 15,000 plus. We see that this particular partner of ours had JITs where inventory was being held, and inventory was basically being held because there was a push side from the centralized warehouse and there was a pull side happening from the retailers and the distributors, because of which there was duplication in inventory and inventory was getting kind of held up in a lot of JITs. What we co-ideated with the customer was duplication of inventory. These are the complexities, as I said, lesser control over inventory and dedicated temperature control areas and JITs. The solution which we came up with was that we moved the push-pull overlap from JITs to a centralized warehouse, where the JITs today primarily just function as cross docks. The order combining and order picking happens at the centralized warehouse, and real-time demand can be fulfilled from the warehouse itself. Again, the solution was a goods to person solution. We used our Butler-based system to combine all these orders at the centralized warehouse based on distributors and retailers. Distributors, JITs will only service cross docks, so this got them to basically reduce a lot of their inventory which was held in the supply chain, which effectively turned around a beautiful ROI story to them. About GrayOrange, we are about 5 years old, 400 plus employees. We've got some of our patents have been granted, some of them are filed. 30% of our investments go into R&D and 35% of our human manpower is engaged actively in R&D, so we have a healthy product pipeline. As I said, the first problem which we're looking at is the warehouse automation space and trying to disrupt and bring it closer to the market and at more palatable costs than they're available today. We already present all over Asia, and we continue to work towards the Western markets. The GrayOrange Butler, up to 600 picks an hour. What we think the biggest value proposition of this is, this makes human more efficient. In fact, we've had cases where human efficiency has gone up by 5 to 6x by working along with robotics. This is what our linear sorter looks like, as was demonstrated in case 1. We are happy to talk more as and when required. Did I stick to my timeline? Yeah, thank you.